Then the Neelys came from North Carolina. That was my father's father and his family. Of course, they too came over the mountains, East Tennessee, and they stopped in Murray County. They thought they might like to live there and homestead some land. They lived there a couple of years, and they said they couldn't do that because everything grew so fast and the weeds grew so fast that they couldn't cultivate that land. So they came on down to Carroll County, settled in an awful poor section. But they made it. Daddy's father was a school teacher and a surveyor, and I don't think they really know where he got his education, but he was outstanding in his community.
Was he married when he came to Carroll County?
Yeah. You're talking about Daddy's father? No. See, he married Melissa Hamilton there, and that family had been settled there for some time, and that Hamilton Cemetery is on the land that they owned. I've heard them say that my grandfather Hamilton was he was my grandmother's father. He was a cabinet maker. He had a shop out in his backyard. He had a stroke and he had to crawl to work out there in his shop in his last years.
His name Green Hamilton.
I think so.
Did he take his own life?
Mm-hmm.
What he took laudanum?
Or laudanum. Lodium, something like that. So that's the area where you were a few weeks ago, cleaning up the growth around the cemetery. Nobody there now that, scarcely anyone that even remembers the families there. That remembers anything about the Hamiltons and Neelys. Of course, that's the way time does.
Well, so Grandpa Neely and Grandma Hamilton married.
He was several years older than she was. Good many years.
Was he crippled?
He had a stroke I think they had a child or two born after he had that stroke. I've heard Daddy say he would get a job going into a place to do some surveying, and that they'd have to help him on the horse. That was how helpless he was. And he would go, maybe be gone a couple of days, come home, and Grandma asked him right away, Did you make some money? He said, no, I didn't. He said, they didn't have it, and I didn't ask for it. I think that was the kind of man he was. His family needed it. But they were making it by a lot of them, working all they could.
You don't ever remember seeing him, do you?
Oh, no. I heard, I didn't hear it, but my daddy told me that he and his mother and the brothers and sisters worked in everybody's field around there after he became an invalid. They couldn't do anything at all to make a living. And sometimes the children would kind of bemoan the fact that they didn't have anything. They didn't have what some of the other children had. In fact, some food. It was awfully meager at times. Dad said she raised up and pointed her finger at him and said, don't you ever let anybody know about things we don't have. We are a proud family, and we want to remain that way. A little bit different from today.
What do you remember? She died in 1919 when you were 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about her?
I don't remember too much about her. She had a good education. I heard some of the distant relatives told me one time that had she been a man, she would have been president of the United States. They thought she was that smart. She said she quite often would be churning, nursing a baby, and reading. Daddy said he often wondered where they got those books. They were history books. She must have been a strong woman, because during the war, he had to leave Carroll County. He became so unpopular because he was a Union sympathizer. And she was pregnant, so she could not go at that time. And after this baby was born, she made arrangements to go to him. She and those 4 or 5 children and that little baby in a wagon. She sold some of their farming tools in order to get some money. And so my Aunt Molly wrote a book about this journey. She was old enough that she remembered a lot about it. They went over to where New Johnsonville is now, and there they got on a boat with a lot of other people who were going up there. And Aunt Molly goes into detail about the trip there to Illinois and how the people welcomed them there. And then when the war was over, they came back to a scene of devastation where they had lived. Then there were, I guess, 3 children born to that family after they got back.
I believe you've told me that she had a sharp tongue.
Pretty sharp. She knew a lot, and she didn't have patience with those who didn't. She thought they ought to have read and learned too.
Then how did come on down to Papa and what you know about him? But do you remember what Melissa Hamilton looked like?
Mm-hmm.
What she looked like?
I think Daddy looked a lot like her. She was awfully wrinkled. But I remember very little else about her. I know she liked to work outside. Mother said evidently she'd always done that because she didn't know how to cook. And Dad thought Mother was an awfully good cook, and that didn't sit well with Grandmother. He bragged on Mother's cooking. He might be considered a bachelor at the time they were married, and just he and his mother living alone. So she always lived with him.
Where were they living?
Well, he came, they were living in Darden. He came there to work in the depot.
And brought his mother with him.
Mm-hmm. And that's where he met Mother.